Zay Flowers is out this Saturday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media. And today, unfortunately, I have to talk about the Baltimore Ravens playing, obviously, their biggest rival without their number one wide receiver. The number one wide receiver in the history of the Baltimore Ravens, the only wide receiver to ever be named to the Pro Bowl. Once again, congratulations to Zay Flowers. I never thought it would happen. I thought it would happen, but never thought it would happen this soon. Really cool to have a Pro Bowl wide receiver, but unfortunately, he's missing the first playoff game with the knee injury he sustained against the Cleveland Browns. Before we even talk about that, I just want to say, I don't blame John Harbaugh for playing him in that situation. That was a must-win game not technically must-win, but got to win to secure the home field advantage, knowing that you would have it against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, I think playing Zay was the right call. Unfortunately, he did end up getting injured. Hopefully he can return. It's not a season-ending injury. He is wearing a brace currently. So the hope is he can potentially return for next round or the AFC Championship game. But this isn't the first time the Ravens are playing in the playoffs without a number one pass catcher. Remember last year, Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews missed a lot of time going into the playoffs, and he wasn't even 100% when he was playing against the Chiefs. So, obviously we're without him. Before I even talk about the loss of Zay Flowers, I do want to say, if you guys haven't noticed, I've been posting some short form content on this channel. It's overall NFL based typically, or NBA based. Let me know if you guys want to see that, or actually just let me know if you don't want to see it. I get some people, they only want their TTB Ravens videos to be Baltimore Ravens related, or at least, long form content because they don't watch shorts. If that's the case, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to keep posting them. I have a lot of fun. I'm posting them on TikTok. I post a lot more of them on TikTok. I only will try and post maybe one a day. I don't want to spam this feed with short form videos, but I will post them occasionally. So let me know if you don't want to see it. I will stop posting them on here and just focus on posting them only on TikTok. So just, again, let me know. The other thing is I will be posting another video today. It'll be a tier list video where I go through every single NFL team and talk about their chances and how they can potentially win the Super Bowl. So if you're interested in that, make sure to, subscribe, turn on notifications, see when I post that in a couple of hours. But, talking about Zay Flowers, this is a huge loss, I think. When you look at the Ravens game against the Steelers that they won, what felt like the first win against the Steelers in forever, Zay Flowers had a huge game, 5 receptions, 100 yards. He was doing very well against Joey Porter Jr. He, I believe, also drew a couple of flags. That was a very good game from Zay Flowers. He also caught, just some big, third down, some big crossing routes. And that's what Zay Flowers is really, that's what's got him to the Pro Bowl, right? You look at Derrick Henry, you see these hard play actions. Zay Flowers is killing it on those crossing routes. None of the other players on this Ravens team have been nearly as effective. I think Rashad Bateman's been good on the crossing routes. Isaiah Likely's been okay on the crossing routes. Mark's done a good job on the crossing routes. But Zay Flowers has made his money on those crossing routes, on those hard play actions. So without that, the Steelers know that they're going to be able to bite with the linebackers. Patrick Queen's going to bite. TJ Watt's going to bite. All their pass rushers. They're going to hit Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry hard because they're knowing, hey, the Ravens are less explosive. They're less dangerous, even if they are passing the ball. So running the ball, I think, is going to be a little bit harder than it was in the last time that we played against them. But again, that doesn't mean it's going to be impossible, right? Derrick Henry is going to have to be the focal point. They're going to have to go out there and say, hey, we're going to give you the rock, just like Derrick Henry wants, right? He tells the team, he tells Lamar Jackson, he tells Harbaugh, he tells Monken, he says, yo, give me the ball, right? You brought me here not to win games in September, October, November, December. You brought me here to win games in January and the game in February. Give them the rock. And if the Ravens do that, if they feed Derrick Henry, they should have a lot of success, I think. And it should open up that play action game. Now, one thing that we have to recognize is this is Baltimore, right? This is Baltimore in January. It's going to be windy. It's going to be really cold. The deep ball isn't necessarily going to be there. We saw Lamar Jackson trying to hit Mark Andrews on a 25 to 35-yard pass over the top. He missed him. He might have missed him twice. He tried 2 plays. I can't remember what the other one was for. They might have both been Mark Andrews. But those are tough throws, right? This isn't playing in Tampa Bay in September. This isn't playing, in a dome, right? It's a lot more difficult to throw the ball deep downfield with wind. in the cold. Um, it's probably going to be swirling. So it's just much more difficult. So don't expect it to be, Lamar Jackson's running, hard play action and then just hits Bateman for a 55-yard, air yard touchdown pass. I don't expect that to be the game plan. I wouldn't even really want the Ravens to try it right now. If it were to arise that the safeties are really biting, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Deshaun Elliott, they're really crashing on those play actions. Sure, take a deep shot, but don't rely on it to be working. Don't rely on it to be just an easy connection because of that wind, because of the temperature. That's not going to be easy. I think the thing that they have to do is utilize the short passing game and the intermediate routes. One of the things that the Ravens have done very well, and they haven't done it as much recently, was the screen game. The screen game with Todd Monken. Now, Justice Hill was out for a period of time, but I'd like to see the screen game with Derrick Henry. I'd like to see the screen game with, potentially like Tylan Wallace, maybe a Tez Walker. Keaton Mitchell, I think there could be a ton of situations where you throw Keaton Mitchell out wide, and maybe what the Ravens love to do, they've done it a couple of times this year. They've had success on it. The first time they ever did it was 2019 against the Cardinals, right? Where you do the fake bubble and then hit the wheel route. They've run it a couple of times this year, but bring Keaton Mitchell out wide, fake a bubble to Keaton, hit Bateman on a wheel route, or hit, maybe it's Charlie Kohler on the wheel route, or Tylan Wallace, because Tylan Wallace is seen as kind of a blocking wide receiver. Hit him on the wheel route, right? He's got good hands, and that's only a 15, 20-yard throw, and it can still be an explosive big play without needing to have the risk involved of wind and everything else like that, right? The Steelers are an anticipatory defense. That might be the wrong word for that, but they're trying to anticipate, right? They want to go out there and they have superstar players. We're not going to say they don't. They got TJ Watt, they got Cam Hayward, they have Minkah Fitzpatrick. Those are, some of the best players at their position and have been for the last, 5, 6, Cam Hayward's instance, 10 years, right? These are some of the best players on defense in the NFL. They know, and Patrick Quinn, we know this as Ravens fans. He's not the best linebacker in the NFL, but when he's right, he's one of the best, right? When he gets the play right, when he guesses right, he's fantastic. When he shoots that gap, very good in the hole. When he blitzes up the middle, fantastic at wrapping up the quarterback. So you don't want to have situations where they know what you're doing, because when that happens, right, we do the fake jet sweep, it won't be to Zay, so it'll be to like Tylan Wallace, and TJ Watt just hammers Derrick Henry in the backfield. Can't have that happen. You can't let this team figure out what you're trying to do. So utilize the screen game. Don't overuse it, but you have to hit those checkdowns so then you can start doing those fakes, right? Don't start off with, we're just going to run read option all the time, the entire game, right? Do a couple of handoffs to Derrick Henry and then get Lamar to keep some. Now, if it's a situation like the last time we played the Steelers, Lamar Jackson, they were not playing Lamar, and Lamar was just keeping it. I'm fine with that, right? But we don't want to have a situation where Lamar, because we've seen this in the playoffs before, and Lamar talked about it in the press conference, where he gets kind of overzealous. He wants to be the guy. He wants to have the ball in his hands, right? And that's what you want in your superstar. You want your superstar in all sports, right? You want the Shohei Ohtanis. You want the Steph Currys. You want the Lamar Jacksons to say, give me the ball, right? Like, I'm going to lead us to victory. But in football, you don't want to just have your quarterback be the guy just taking hits over and over, right? Let Derrick Henry take one. Let him take a couple. Now, if it's open, keep it. But don't just see like one guy out there and it's Patrick Queen and be like, I know I can make a miss. Like, I want to hit the big play. The big plays will come. You don't need to force them. The Steelers defense has allowed the big play. What they thrive on is when you get too antsy, too excited, and you try and hit that big play early after a play like, Derrick Henry has a big run down the sideline. You try and hit a passing play and you throw an interception to Minkah Fitzpatrick. That's where this team thrives, right? Be pretty conservative, honestly, and you're going to win this game. You got to hold on to the ball, be conservative. And again, you know when to take your shots. Wide receivers for this game, obviously, I think Rashad Bateman's going to be the one. I think we're going to use Isaiah Likely in the slot a fair bit. Wide receiver 2, though, honestly, I kind of think it's going to be Tylan. I think Tylen works really well because he is a good blocker. He's proven he can catch the ball. He's proven he can make guys miss, make the big play without it being right. Tylen Wallace had a 80, 75-yard touchdown against the Bengals on an out route, right? It doesn't have to be, oh, we hit him 40 yards down the sideline for a touchdown. Like, sure, that can happen, but when you're playing in this weather, when it's going to be frigid temperatures, it's hard to tackle. These guys are trying to tackle Derrick Henry all game. They're not going to be ready to, just throw their body into you because they're going to be tired. That's where a guy like Tylen Wallace, Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews, and their physicality is going to be able to thrive. So, kind of keys to this game, hit the guys that have space underneath and let them make plays. Because if you're handing the ball off to Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson's obviously keeping a couple, and you're hitting those checkdowns, those linebackers, those safeties coming down, those corners trying to make these tackles, they're going to get tired. Don't lose faith after one drive. Don't lose faith after two drives, after one quarter, after two quarters. Third and fourth quarter, that is where this game is going to be won or lost. And if the Ravens are continuing to run the football, they're continuing to get the ball in the hands of their bruisers, of their physical players, they're going to run away with it. Because that's what Derrick Henry does. That's what Lamar Jackson does. That's what Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, that's what they do, right? Zay Flowers, his entire career has been like, he's a first half, I don't want to say like first half merchant, but that's where he's thrived, right? It's been Zay Flowers, and like Derrick Henry a little bit, and Derrick Henry's not going crazy, but Derrick Henry's doing all right. And then in the second half, it's like, whoa, Derrick Henry's going crazy now. Why? Zay Flowers and company, including Derrick Henry, are tiring them out. And when that happens, that's when the bigger guys start to set in. That's when they start to dominate. That's when Patrick Ricard's blocks get a little bit harder. That's when it's a little bit harder to arm tackle Derrick Henry. It's when he starts falling forward. Those are my thoughts on the game. I'm going to obviously have videos out tomorrow and then the pregame show on Saturday. Later today, I'll have a video talking about every single playoff team and their chances at winning it all. But thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe for more, and I'll see all of you again later today.